Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about 10 keys to employee engagement. Employee engagement is one of the most talked about things in business today besides profit. In fact, engaged employees create better performance for companies, even to the bottom line. But there's a problem. There's a lot of leadership derailment going on in organizations today. Leaders are lacking the skills they need to build a high-performing team. Communication skills, motivating skills, problem-solving skills, team-building skills, decision-making skills. As a result of that, there's the issue. In fact, some research says 50% of managers are failing in these kinds of things. Others say 67%. Either way you look at it, it's a big problem. But it's also an opportunity for you as a manager that if you do a better job, you can make a difference with your team, in your organization, with your customers. Now, various research reports on employee engagement shows that only 13% of employees are engaged worldwide. In the U.S., it's 30%. So there's a gap there, but it's also an opportunity. If we can reverse those numbers, a company, a manager, has a great opportunity to impact results. And there isn't any secret that needs to be done, and that's what I want to get to. But I want to dispel some thoughts about what employee engagement is. It is not an annual survey. Most companies do a yearly or every 2-year survey. It's not something a manager has to do based on the survey, create an action plan, get better, and then forget about it for a while till we do the survey next time. It's not the number on the survey. The number just serves as a snapshot or a measurement in time. Employee engagement is not a fallacy. It does happen. Engaged employees want to do a good job. They're inspired. They like what they're doing. They want to perform better and better. They're looking to improve. They have commitment to what's going on. It's not a waste of time then. It's not something that you do because of the survey. It's something you do as a leader as you interact with your employees every day of the year. And it's not hard, really, if you do the right things. And if you believe in it, that's often the problem. A lot of the reason sometimes managers don't do team building and know how to do that well, because they don't really believe in it. They just want it done their way, based on what they have to say. Because too many managers still, in this day and age, and all the research, and all the books and materials that have been put out there the last 20 years, managers still believe in command and control. What employee engagement is ownership. We treat employees like partners in what we're doing. And when we do, you don't have to motivate them. They're self-motivated. Now, there's a bottom line to all this. Companies with engaged employees outperform others without it by 202%. As you see from the research I shared with you earlier about employee engagement and how low it is, many companies are leaving money on the table. They're leaving performance on the table. They're leaving bottom line impact on the table if they would do things differently. Now, my business partner, Doug Watsova, and I, as we researched our book, Superstar Leadership, over the last dozen years, we found keys to employee engagement that aren't necessarily in some of the high-profile resources that are available today. Why? Because we dug in the depths of organizations with the middle management who are charged to work with employees day in and day out, not necessarily the CEOs. And we found some different things, and that's what I want to share with you. So what do leaders need to do to be able to get these employees engaged to at a higher level? Well, first of all, they need to understand they need a different perspective. It's not about you as a leader. It's about the employees. A manager's success depends on the employee's success. So you're going to have to dig in and understand that. So it's a perspective change that you need to have here. The mental switch, if you will. Once you do that, something you got to believe in, that it's right to care about employees, to be focused on their success. That if they succeed and perform at a high level, then that's a reflection on you. You need to understand that. That's the starting point. It's like this little mathematical problem that I have here. What's the first thing you notice about it when you take a look at it? Now you can write it down or you can just get it in your head. What's the first thing you notice? Well, if you're like 80% of other people that we show this slide to, they'll say, hey, Rick, you made a mistake on the second equation. Yeah, and that's true. 12 minus 5 is 7, not 6. However, The perspective change we're talking about is the other two are right. Why don't we point out that there are two right? And that's the problem in many organizations. So we need to look at this team and individual perspective. A manager has to question themselves on the team side. What does my team need from me to succeed? In other words, not what does my team need to do to succeed? What are they going to give me? It's like one manager we talked about, he always says, what great thing have you done for me today? That's what he tells his team. That's not what we're talking about. And then the other question on the team side is, what is it like to be led by me? And then on the individual side, as we focus on one-on-one and employee, what's most important to you, employee? What are you most interested in? Where do you want to make a difference? An answer to these 5 questions reveals some intriguing thoughts about what we may have to do as a leader to help our employees succeed. So what do leaders need to do after they've changed their perspective on where to focus? Let's go over the 10 keys. First one, clear goals and expectations. All good performance starts with clear goals. Now this isn't necessarily new, but the practice of it is new because 2/3 of managers don't have a plan for their team, let alone one-on-one with each employee. So if we do this, not on an annual basis, but on a monthly, quarterly basis, you'll see from the research there that we get improvement in performance. That's what we're after. It leads to more engagement. Why? Because you're talking to an employee. You're communicating with them about their successes, things to improve, and helping them win. Second area is training. Research shows it has a positive impact on the overall organizational results. Wow, if you do it. Okay, if you do it. The problem is not many companies do. I saw a research report yesterday. Only 5% of employees in the last 5 years had attended an employee training program. Wow, that's unbelievable when you really think about it. So it shows you the opportunity for you if you have better trained people and do it consistently, month in and month out, quarter and quarter out. Now, if you don't have a big HR training group or one that's too busy and they can't give you all the help you need to learn how to do it. We teach managers how to do that in our book. You'll get the impact. Okay? You don't have to be a professional trainer. You just need to provide the training, get them engaged, role play, those kinds of things. Third point, we need to communicate, communicate, communicate. And I say this 3 times for emphasis. It's the little things in the organization in terms of schedules and changes in policies and how we do written communication. But it's also bigger things in terms of the one-on-one communication skills. Are we good listeners, for example? Most managers, according to leadership derailment studies, aren't. It's also presentation skills. Can you run an effective meeting? Or are they dull and boring and everybody falls asleep? You got to be better than that. Be a student of the game. So if you do that, you create more engaged employees. Coaching. We should probably circle this one. 88% impact in terms of employee performance. If you take that one plus the goal setting, you've got over 100% gain in the performance, the quality, the quantity of your team if you do this. Now, coaching is not just for poor performers. It's for everybody. Elite athletes, star entertainers all have coaches to help them reach their best level of effectiveness. Why wouldn't we do that for our employees? So you need to be a student of the game, learn how to coach, do it week in and week out. There's informal communication based on one-on-one interactions, and there's formal communication, more involved, 30 to 45 minutes of in-depth preparation. And then understanding point 5. That not all employees are the same. Remember the question I talked to you about earlier. What do my employees need from me? Each may need different things. So we have to adjust our leadership approach based on the needs of employee. We got to have some flexibility there. Lots of research to show that that's important. A lot of research also shows most managers use 1 or 2 ways of leading and they do it with everybody. It's kind of like, well, you know, my way or the highway. We've got to be better than that. And when you do, it's motivating. It helps employees become more effective. Point number 6, recognition. You know, I shouldn't even have to say that yet. Time and time again in our consulting business, when we go in organizations, guess what? Only the top performers get organization, if any is or recognition, if any is given at all, and not much is done with everybody else. So what does it say to everybody else? We got a few winners here and the rest are losers. That's not the kind of high performance climate that you want to create. Great book, The Carrot Principle, talks about that in more detail. We need to do it. We need to engage our team that way and make them feel proud about what they're doing and appreciated. When they do, they want to do an even better job. Point 7, we need to have some fun in organizations, team activities, social activities, maybe some promotions and incentives tied to the key goals. You may not have a big budget for that. You may. Either case, you can do it with a little creativity, change the pace so it isn't the same old all the time. Number 8, every manager in any organization is responsible for customer service, retention, and loyalty. If you're not directly serving the customer through your team, then you're serving somebody who is. So you need to have a game plan. Really what it is about is process improvement, trying to improve what we do. And when we have an impact on our customers through our policies or procedures, our face-to-face contact, it has a bottom line impact. You win. You know what? Employees want to win. They want to serve the customers well. But it's hard for them to do it if they don't feel empowered in what they do. Number 9, we got to do a better job of hiring. Now, a lot of organizations we come across, the hiring process has been taken out of their hands. There's HR recruiters that do it for them. We say this: get involved. Learn how to do a behavioral interview. Learn how to check references. Learn how to orient an employee yourself. Don't let someone else do it. You do it in terms of setting up clear expectations and goals for them. First day, first week, first month, first 90 days in the job. When you do that, the employee feels like, hey, I like this place. They're helping me. Give them some training. They feel like they're valued. They want to do a good job. So you start them off right. So now these first 9 keys are all about leadership practices and behaviors. Number 10 is an internal thing. And it goes back to what I said earlier, that employee engagement isn't hard if you believe in it. And we say honesty, integrity, ethics, doing business right. Research by Kouzes and Posner, who wrote the book, and we recommend it, The Challenges of Leadership, is that they found that the number 1 characteristic managers look for in their leaders is honesty. And it's not so different for employees, especially with all the distrust that we have in leaders today. So do what you say you're going to do. Follow through on your commitments. Do what's right. And if there's any question about it, be honest enough to say, I made a mistake, or let's talk about this. People will respect that, and they'll trust you as a leader when you do those kinds of things. Do you see now? Do you hear what I'm saying about these 10 keys? Now, they all go together. You don't say, well, okay, I'm going to focus on the goal-setting one. I'm not going to do the training one, and I don't have time for the coaching one. They all go together. And really, quite frankly, a lot of these are interrelated. When you set goals, you're communicating, for example. When you coach, there's recognition, there's problem solving, there's leadership flexibility built into it. So you don't pull them apart and say a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They all go together, like our leadership model. They're all intertwined. And when we do this, when we become a student of game in all these areas, we find that we'll be successful. An example of that. One of our clients called us in to help them, especially last year, for the last 4 months of the year. They were 15% behind goal. So we went in there, worked with them. What did we focus on? Well, all these areas. These 10 keys to engagement. They're just a part of what we do as leaders. And we focus that on their leaders with a little coaching, a little training, some planning meetings, and then they applied it to their teams, and then we coached them to help them do that better. Make a long story short, by the end of the year, they were positive 15% for the whole year. That was a 30% swing. Same product, same employees, same competitors, same situations. What changed? Goes back to what I said earlier. Leaders need to change their perspective, and as we do that, we'll change what we do. That's how you get the results. That's what they did. You can do it as well. That's what's possible. You'll see here a lot of results we've gotten with our clients to help them be successful. We're not saying things that are theory. What we focus on are practical, improvement strategies that any manager can do, from the first team leader to the executive, if you will, to be effective in building a highly engaged employee workforce. That's what we wish for you, and I have this dream that soars on golden wings. I visualize your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know all about your awesome goals or your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know that you can be the best, a superstar. Thanks for taking the time with us today. Take care.